Welcome to Books, Yarns, and Tales. I'm your host, Leslie Nace, and I'm so thrilled, as always, to have you here with me live on the show. And, I wanted to start off, as I always do, with a bit of a quote. So let me get myself together here. There's, there's that. All right. So if you read the episode title or if you're joining me live, you haven't read it, today is about self-worth, and that's communicating to yourself inside and out. Now, mm, we're going to start off with that quote as I always like to. There's Books, Yarns, and Tales. It's in front of you there. And we'll go to the next slide. There we are. And it says today, if you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth to someone, you have already forgotten your value. This is really important in so many ways that we're always trying to put out there that, that we're good enough, that we have something worthwhile to say, and we all do have something worthwhile to say. But many of us don't feel comfortable when things are said in a positive way about ourselves. And that due to the fact of what we repeat to ourselves, our thoughts and our feelings all the time. Now, if you have followed along in some of the last few episodes, you'll understand that I'm doing a whole communication period and series. So you can go back and take a look at some of those episodes. But today we're going to start off with telling you that you are so amazing. See if you can open up and take some of the statements that I'm going to put out there with you right now. So we're going to start with this little exercise. So you're just going to allow whatever you're doing, wherever you are. If you are just listening, then listen. If you want to close your eyes, close your eyes. If you want to take a couple of breaths to be ready, do that. Doesn't matter how you get it. Here we go. Every day is a new adventure. Every day is an opportunity to live life to the fullest. A fresh opportunity to create the new you and to celebrate who you are. You are unique. You are the only person in the world who has your experience and the understanding of life the way you live it. You deserve to be here right now, at this time, at this moment, and in every moment following. You deserve to be here. You are already a winner. It's time to live your life. Let me start that one again. I moved my page in front of me. It's time to live the life you always dreamed about. You're important. We need your wonderful spark to complete the circle of energy that unites all of us. In the shamanic tradition, it is always about that web of life. And the spider, the mother, the spider who weaves this web constantly. If you think about it, one of my favorite times is in the springtime or the summer when there's dew outside on all the plants and everything. And if I walk out on my deck, which is loaded with plants, I can often find that there is a spider web and it's glistening with those little beads of light as the sun hits it. And there's the center part, and then it goes out and out and out and out and out. And you are like that center part that has all this richness within you. And as the sun hits it, you shine your light out and out and out into the world. And that web, if you look at it closely, is not a perfect circle. It's not a perfect design. It's an imperfect design because it moves and it grows and it changes. And if it gets broken, it gets rewoven to a new web, new thoughts and new ideas that are there. And it's just a wonderful way of telling us that when you look at the center of who you are and you build your own web going out, you touch many aspects, whether it be people, animals, or plants in your life. So that's just a brief way to help you think about how life is connected and how your spark and who you are really contributes to everything. How do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up refreshed and ready to go, or you wake up kind of being tired and down? Some of that's physical, and some of that means that, we have to change physically what we eat or how we digest or how we exercise or how we think about ourselves. There's so many different aspects to that, but you can narrow all that down and find out why you're not feeling vibrant in the morning, that you feel kind of grumpy. But here's one thing to help you feel better every single morning when you wake up. You wake up and you start to tell yourself how amazing you are, because you are amazing. And you think about, how does that make you feel? What is it about you that is that special spark? What is it about you that you have that talent and ability to share with the world? And then when you love what you do, you get excited about the day, and you kind of run through your head, what am I doing today? I always get excited when it comes to doing my show because I love being here. I love having this conversation. I love teaching you. I love interviewing people. I love that the word is going out just like that big spider's web. I don't know how it's going to connect to anyone, but I know that it does. And that's important. So I'm going to go back to that first statement again. And I'm going to ask you to just think about, how does this feel within your body? Not your head, your body. Can you really take in this statement to who you are? Because when words are spoken, that's energy that comes at us. And energy that comes at us comes at our body, and it either can stay outside or it can filter in. And lots of times, energetically, we have things that can be stuck in our body or felt in our body in different ways. So when I said, you are amazing, where did you feel that? Or how did you feel? Did you feel amazing? Or did you feel kind of awkward? Oh, well, maybe that's not me. Did you feel small? Or did you feel large? Confident? You got this. Or uncertain? I don't know what's expected of me. That's all part of your own inner dialogue when it comes to your own self-worth. And you might want to ask yourself, what would it take for me to communicate positive self-worth statements to myself on a daily basis? Now, I'm going to tell you about author and hypnotist, she's a hypnotist therapist, I should say, Yvonne Oswald. And she says that your self-worth is 100% relevant on your inner dialogue, your thoughts and your words. There are only two kinds of thoughts, she goes on to say: thoughts that empower you and those that don't. So there's that question again for the day on the show. How do you speak to yourself, about yourself, inside your own mind? How do you speak? Because that means how you face the world, how you start your day, how you live your life. We're going to go a little deeper into that so I can give you kind of this inner picture, if you will, to understand why this is kind of relevant. The question I might ask is, have you ever walked into a room where people seem to be just drawn to this one person? It is like they are the center of the tension, and like a magnet, everybody's moving in closer so they can hear what that person has to say, where they can be in the presence of that person's energy, that person's laughter, that person's just state of being, how they are, how they presented themselves. You know, this is what we term to be a charismatic person. You know, and that means a person who possesses special talents, or I should say traits, that attract, inspire, or fascinate other people. We often think of charismatic people as some of the leaders that we've had. JFK, John F. Kennedy, was a president who many said was very charismatic. Even Bill Clinton is one of those people that they've thought is very charismatic. Like, he drew people in to listen to him. And in fact, I got a chance, an unexpected chance, to witness that. Now, granted, when I witnessed it, he was the president, right? So anyone who's in a position of power such as that, people are going to be drawn to. But I happened to be visiting my daughter, who was going to college in Brooklyn, New York, at Pratt Art Institute. And we had been in Manhattan, and we came back to Brooklyn. We decided to go to Junior's, which is a restaurant that's famous for its cheesecake. You can find it anywhere, not just at the restaurant anymore. So we made our way there, and as we made our way there, the streets were crowded with people. Not only that, we started to begin to see police officers on every corner of every street. We got closer and closer to Junior's. We didn't know what was going on until we asked some police officer we were going to cross the street to get to Junior's, and he said, "Where are you going?" And we told him, and he said, "You have to go down under the street and come up the other side, and you can get to the restaurant." We said, "Okay, what's going on?" "Oh, the President Clinton is at the Long Island University right across the street giving a speech." "Oh, okay." Went down under, came up the other side, and had a police officer say, "What are you doing here?" Like, talk about intimidating, right? We just said, "Going to Junior's for cheesecake." So we went over and we ordered our cheesecake, and all of a sudden there was this uproar in the restaurant. And we didn't know until the wait staff came over and it said, "President Clinton just entered the building." Curious, yeah? Never been that close to a president before. So my daughter and I each took turns to go and see President Clinton. Now, Junior's was already crowded. We were off to the side. We weren't in the main room. But walking into that main room is something I'll never forget, because this man did just kind of radiate this energy that people were, wanting to be part of it. He was gracious. He was shaking hands. He was patting toddlers on the head. He was having a conversation with people. He was just who he was, that charismatic person at that moment, who was there, who had a genuine smile on his face for everybody who seemed to show up. So those are the people who possess special traits that attract, inspire, or fascinate other people. But are they just for a certain few? Or can you cultivate your own self-worth that leads to the feeling of being charismatic, or maybe not charismatic so much as to drawing attention to people that are fascinated about you and that may be inspired about what you have to say. And the simple answer to that is yes, you can. And it's simply confidence and success that these people are displaying. That's what they're showing. They're confident on who they are. They're confident that they're successful, and they walk the walk and talk the talk and dress the dress. There they are. That's what makes them so attractive. So these people know themselves, and they know themselves well. They are ones who feel that they would be able to tackle any project with assurance. So you don't have to think about, well, I'm going to tackle the presidency and go out and be that. But you can, on a smaller basis, say, hey, I'm going to tackle putting together this fundraiser for my local library, and feel self assured and self propelled and confident that you'll be successful. And you will, because you'll carry that confidence and you have that feeling every time you achieve a level of that goal, and your resolve is to the point where you can do this, you do it. And it's the same within business. There are people in business who have decided, I can do this. I am good at what I do. And they walk into the room, and that's what they say. Now I'm going to use my friend Lynn. I'm the queen of sales. And she is. She is absolutely who she says she is. She has the assurance that she knows her business, she knows what she's talking about, and people lean in and listen. They want to know what it is that she has. And a lot of what she has and others have in business or in life is the assurance, the confidence. And some of that confidence sometimes is not always an outward having to prove your worth to anyone or your value. It is knowing sometimes that you can sit within that space that you hold. Perfect example was I went out to lunch yesterday, and I sat with a group of family members actually, and I didn't have to speak. I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to interact. They talked a lot about different things, and all I needed to do was sit and listen. I was attentive and I was listening, and at one point somebody leaned in and looked at me and said, so what's going on with you? That opening comes, and it's not about bragging about what I'm doing, talking about, hey, I'm on a TV show on Win Win Women. It was just relating the facts and letting it be, and then sitting back and listening. Because even in that listening time, I felt really good about who I was and where I was sitting and what was going on. I didn't have to be outward about any of it. It's that project with assurance. All right? And it's also in that case of what I just told you, explain, you enjoy who you are, and you make others feel important and interesting. Because I asked questions when they did talk about something or experience of theirs, so that they could shine on their own self and their own worth. Time for a little water. So the key of all of this is truly, intuitively, to know your true self, to know who you are at your basic core, and that you feel worthy about who you are. Now, there are a lot of times where many of us feel that we're not good enough, and we get those little tapes play over and over and over again in our head. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do you get rid of that, and how do you really feel about that? But I do want to state again that self worth is really about feeling completely free to be your amazing self. Yes? You want to trust your strength of character and your own judgment. And too many times in this day and age, we give our strength away, we give our judgment away to others. So you need to be able to be free to be who you are, trust your strength of character and your own judgment. So, why is self worth really important, especially when it comes to communicating? I think I've given you a couple examples of why it is, but when we go in deeper, you want to approve of yourself. If you feel good about who you are and you approve of what you're doing and you're saying, then here are some things that happen as a consequence of feeling your own self worth, feeling good enough about who you are, exactly as you are, and exactly as you are not. Number one, you stay calm and you move easily forward toward your success. So, in any given moment, and when you stay calm and you're open and you're observing and you're listening, you get those clues that come to you, and then you can move forward toward success. So, you have stronger spirit and courage, a lot of that inner part of you that is like courage that most of us don't feel lots of times, to step into who we are and be greater than who we are. That's huge. Number three, you make clearer decisions, confident of the results. I think we've reflected this over and over again, that when you do know who you are and what's right for you inside, then that is the clearer decisions and the confident results. And I think I'm on number 4. You become more resilient, self reliant, and self sufficient. Now, these are all great things because you're the complete package. You're it. You don't have anyone ever tell you that you're not, because you are. It's how you measure your inner strength. That's what self worth is about. So, if I ask that question again, how do you speak to yourself about yourself inside your mind? Well, it's said that life is a mirror and it will reflect back to you what you need to know. I had a friend who used to use that all the time. Life is a mirror. When I tell her something, it's reflecting back what you need to know right now. It's like, got to a point where I don't want to hear what life is a mirror and what it's bringing me. But when you stop to actually look at what life might be bringing you and reflecting back what's happening inside of you, you can go, oh my, yeah, maybe that's what I'm putting out into the world. Scientists also tell us that we have mirror neurons. I talk about those all the time. And I think of them as these little tiny shiny mirrors. But these mirror neurons that are in our brain, they reflect the environment around us, i.e., people, animals, and nature are reflected back to us. Now, I can give you some of those great examples of what might be needed in your life and how it can reflect back to you. But I think if you stop and look at your own life, you might. And the reason I'm not is because I'm going to talk about the law of attraction. Many people have heard, and I think it's overused sometimes, the law of attractions, law of attraction. All you have to do is think and grow rich. All you have to do is think that you're going to have this and come. But it leaves out a little bit of what is really needed. But the law of attraction does say that like attracts like. So if you want to attract something new into your life, you need to change your thoughts, i.e., you need to change your thoughts and your feelings, that's the one part that seems to be getting, or not getting now, has been gotten lost over the years. But we become more in touch with our feelings. We know that we can bring in what we need. All right. And there's one more other step that you have to think about when you are raising your thoughts, your feelings, your vibration to your own self-worth. And that is that you need to be open to allowing the change to happen. The change can happen outside, but it also happens inside. So it corresponds. If inside you feel and think differently, that's what gets sent out as that mirror. That's that wave, if you will. I always love the thought that a pebble being dropped in a still water shows you the waves that go out and out in the world. What it doesn't show you are the waves that come back in toward you. And that's where you find what's being attracted. So it has to be outside and inside, which also means we need to be open to give and to receive. Most people are pretty good at giving gifts and advice and empathy. However, most people are not good at receiving gifts, compliments, and help. Help is a big one. And I'm going to skip over because I see that I am, as always, I planned so much that I ran out of time. But I'll tell you how to get in touch with me at the end here. And I just wanted to, how'd you think about this? So when you give to others, you benefit as well, right? You feel pretty good about that. But when somebody tries to give to you, do you automatically turn it down by saying, no, that's all right, I'm good? Let's think of that a little differently, because your refusal to be open and allowing someone as is stopping the flow of feeling good about themselves. What would what would you think that if every time you opened yourself up to someone offering you something such as help, that every time you accepted help, you empowered humanity by connecting with and increasing communication for everyone on a universal level? Back to the spider web. Because if the spider gives out and out and out, but yet doesn't receive the help that's coming in, it's that wave, and you do it back and forth, it is not just a stagnant wave, it is more of the way the world flows and the way the world is. So I am running out of time, but here's an exercise for you. So there's a mirror exercise that you can do where in the beginning when I talked about empowering statements, and you can listen to the beginning of this or the replay of it, you could post up all those positive feelings that you feel about yourself, that you want to change within yourself, and you put post-its on your mirror so that when you get up in the morning and you look at your mirror, you will feel better and better every day. All right, so we have a quick time to go through. There is that quote again. If you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth to someone, you've already forgotten your value. And if I move on to the next slide, core communication, that's where I am. You can get a free core assessment. You can take other things. You can reach me by email, Leslie at leslienace.com. All right. Intuitive Animal Healing, that you can find my website there. That's a www.net website. Leslie at Intuitive Healing on Moonspinners Enterprise. And thank you, as always, for coming to listen and to learn something more. And I hope, if anything, you take away some golden nugget that feels right for you, that feels like something you can practice and do on your own. So until next time, thanks for being here on Books, Yarns, and Tales.